Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. Wealth does not begin in your hands. It begins in your mind. Every dollar you will ever attract is born from a thought you dare to believe. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner conversation you repeat day after day. If your mind whispers lack, your life will mirror scarcity. But when your mind declares abundance, the universe bends to deliver it. Transform your mind, and you transform your wealth. Speak words that carry power. Say, I am divinely supplied. I walk in abundance. Money comes to me with ease. These words are not empty. They are seeds. And seeds, when spoken with conviction, must grow. They blossom into opportunities, open doors, and unexpected blessings. Your imagination is the blueprint of your financial future. Picture yourself free, flowing, flourishing. Picture bills paid, needs met, dreams expanding. Hold that picture long enough, and life begins to rearrange itself to match your vision. Your mind is the master key to wealth because every experience in your financial life begins as a thought, a belief, or a mental image you have accepted as true. Long before money arrives in your hand, it appears in your consciousness as an idea, a possibility, a shift in perception. When people try to change their financial situation without first changing their inner conversation, they often meet resistance, repeated cycles, or temporary success that quickly fades. But when the mind is transformed, when the inner pattern is rewritten, wealth begins to unfold with clarity, confidence, and a sense of divine order. The mind holds the blueprint, and life simply follows its design. Many people unknowingly hold mental patterns that block abundance, beliefs inherited from family, society, past failures, or moments of fear. Thoughts like money is hard, I never get ahead, people like me don't succeed, or good things don't last, create invisible walls that wealth cannot climb. These beliefs operate quietly, but they shape decisions, reactions, expectations, and even how one interprets opportunities. When the mind expects struggle, it finds it. When it expects lack, it attracts it. But when it expects abundance, it opens the door for wealth to flow in ways that seem almost miraculous. Transforming the mind begins with awareness, recognizing the story you've been telling yourself about money and daring to rewrite it. When you consciously choose thoughts of abundance, you begin dismantling the old narrative that once held you captive. Simple, powerful affirmations can start this transformation. Statements like, I am worthy of prosperity, money flows to me with ease, and I am aligned with divine supply. Begin to reprogram the subconscious. The subconscious accepts what you repeat with emotion, and once it accepts a new idea of wealth, it works tirelessly to bring it into your reality. The mind does not change through force, but through consistent, gentle repetition of truth. Every time you choose faith over fear, possibility over limitation, gratitude over frustration, you shift your inner frequency. That shift becomes visible in your choices. You take bolder actions. You see opportunities you once overlooked. You trust your intuition, and you stop sabotaging your own progress. The world outside you begins to respond differently because you are responding differently from within. Wealth is not only about money, it is a state of consciousness where you expect good, believe in abundance, and feel deserving of a prosperous life. When the mind becomes saturated with this truth, wealth naturally follows, doors open, ideas emerge. People appear, and situations that once seemed impossible begin unfolding with effortless grace. The transformed mind does not chase wealth, it attracts it. It becomes a magnet for prosperity because it vibrates with certainty and confidence. Your mind is the master key because nothing outside you can unlock abundance if the lock inside you remains closed. But once that inner lock is opened through belief, expectation, and truth-filled thought, the world becomes a field of infinite supply. Wealth begins where the mind allows it to begin. And by transforming your inner world, you transform everything that flows into your life. Every word you speak carries creative power, and every sentence you repeat becomes a seed planted in the soil of your life. Words are not casual or empty. They are spiritual commands that shape your reality, especially when it comes to wealth. When you speak about money with fear, frustration, or limitation, you are instructing your subconscious mind to reproduce those exact conditions. But when your words align with truth, faith, and abundance, you set in motion unseen forces that build prosperity around you. Words are seeds, and they always reproduce after their kind. Just as surely as an apple seed becomes an apple tree, a prosperity-filled word becomes a prosperity-filled experience. Many people do not realize that their daily speech is blocking their financial blessings. Casual complaints such as "I'm always broke," "I can't afford that," "money doesn't stay with me," or "nothing ever works out" may feel harmless, but they act as affirmations of lack. They reinforce a mindset that expects scarcity and subconsciously invites more of it. The universe responds to your dominant vibration, and your vibration is heavily shaped by the words you repeat with emotion. Fear-filled words carry energy that restricts, tightens, and contracts your financial flow. You cannot speak lack and expect abundance to appear. On the other hand, empowered speech shifts your entire inner state. When you say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," your subconscious begins scanning your life for evidence of that truth. When you declare, "I am deserving of wealth," the internal resistance that once pushed opportunities away begins to soften. When you affirm, "I am aligned with unlimited supply," your mind becomes open to new possibilities, creative ideas, and unseen paths to prosperity. These words act as spiritual magnets that draw wealth toward you, because they tune your inner frequency to abundance. What you repeatedly speak becomes what you emotionally accept, and what you emotionally accept becomes what you eventually live. Words rewire the subconscious mind, which does not question or analyze. It simply obeys. It takes every statement as instruction, whether it helps or harms you. If you tell the subconscious that money is difficult, it will create conditions that confirm difficulty. If you tell it that money is effortless, it will begin arranging circumstances that reflect ease. You become the author of your financial story every time you choose what to say and how to say it. Words also shape how boldly you act. Someone who speaks with confidence naturally makes confident decisions. Someone who speaks about abundance is more likely to seize opportunities rather than shrink from them. Words influence emotion, and emotion influences behavior, and behavior influences wealth. One shift in speech can lead to a chain reaction that transforms your financial reality. Your words also signal your faith. Speaking abundance, even when your bank account is low, is an act of spiritual alignment. It shows that you trust the invisible supply more than temporary appearances. This faith-filled speech creates an inner certainty that allows blessings to flow without resistance. The moment your words agree with abundance, you begin to call abundance toward you. Words are not just sounds. They are spiritual forces that create after their kind. Every phrase you speak is a seed that must grow. Speak truth, speak abundance, speak possibility, and your life will reflect the harvest of those powerful, intentional words. Your imagination is far more than a place for daydreams. It is the spiritual workshop where every form of wealth is first created. Before anything appears in your physical world, it must be conceived in the inner world of thought and vision. You cannot build a house without a blueprint, and in the same way, you cannot build a prosperous life without first designing it in your imagination. What you consistently imagine becomes the pattern that your outer circumstances follow. The images you hold with emotion, repetition, and belief begin to shape the opportunities you notice, the choices you make, and the vibration you send out into the world. Imagination is the beginning of all manifestation, because it allows you to experience the feeling of your desire before it arrives. When you see yourself wealthy in your inner vision, calm, secure, confident, generous, you start aligning your actions with that version of yourself. You walk differently, you speak differently, you stop entertaining ideas that contradict abundance. The mind does not know the difference between a vividly imagined picture and a physical experience. It simply responds to the emotional impact. So when you imagine wealth with conviction, your subconscious starts treating it as real, reorganizing your inner beliefs and habits to match the image you are holding. Most people imagine the wrong things. They imagine their fears, their debts, their past failures, their what-ifs, and their limitations. These mental pictures drain their energy and attract more struggle because the imagination is always at work, whether used consciously or unconsciously. When you dwell on images of lack, your emotions sink, your expectations shrink, and your intuition becomes clouded. On the other hand, when you deliberately choose to imagine abundance, you elevate your emotional state and tune yourself to solutions, ideas, and experiences that mirror prosperity. Imagination is also a bridge to divine guidance. When you allow yourself to visualize freely, without doubt or resistance, fresh ideas will begin to flow, ideas that come from a higher source of wisdom. You may suddenly see a new direction for your business, a creative way to increase your income, or a path out of a financial problem that once seemed impossible. Imagination makes you receptive to inspired thoughts that logic alone could never produce. These insights are often the turning points that lead people from scarcity to abundance. To use imagination effectively, you must engage your senses. Picture not only the wealth you desire, but also how it feels. Feel the relief of financial freedom. Feel the peace of stability. Feel the joy of giving generously. Feel the confidence of knowing you are supported by unlimited supply. The stronger the emotion, the faster the image impresses itself upon your subconscious mind. And what the subconscious accepts, life must reflect. As you continue holding positive images, your energy begins to shift. You become more magnetic. People sense your confidence. Opportunities gravitate toward you. You start noticing possibilities you once overlooked. Imagination changes your inner posture, and your inner posture shapes your outer destiny. Wealth does not come to the person who doubts and fears. It comes to the person who dares to imagine abundance as already theirs. Your imagination is the silent architect of your future. What you picture with feeling, you eventually experience. When you choose to imagine wealth instead of worry, abundance instead of limitation, prosperity instead of fear, you turn your mind into a powerful engine that draws the very experiences you desire. Use it intentionally, and it will lead you straight into the life of wealth you were meant to claim. Faith is the invisible power that activates wealth in ways logic can never explain. It is the force that takes your thoughts, words, and imagination and turns them into tangible results. Without faith, even the most positive thinking remains powerless, like seeds scattered on barren ground. But with faith, those same seeds become a harvest overflowing with prosperity. Faith is the bridge between the spiritual idea of wealth and the physical experience of it. It dissolves the barriers that fear builds, removes the doubts that delay blessings, and unlocks the doors that once seemed sealed shut. When faith is alive in your heart, nothing in the outer world can stop the flow of abundance that is meant for you. Many people struggle financially not because they lack opportunities, talent, or intelligence, but because they lack faith in their own ability to receive. They believe in scarcity more than they believe in supply, and so their lives reflect the limitations they mentally accept. Faith begins when you choose to trust that there is a divine source of abundance that never runs dry, that supply is always available, and that you are worthy of receiving it. This trust activates a subtle shift inside you, a shift from fear to confidence, from struggle to flow, from helplessness to empowerment. You begin to walk differently because you know something greater is working behind the scenes on your behalf. Faith also changes how you respond to challenges. When a bill arrives, a fearful mind panics, but a faith-filled mind declares, "This too will be provided for." When delays show up, fear says, "It's not happening," but faith says, "Something better is unfolding." When opportunities seem scarce, fear closes doors, but faith keeps looking for the opening. Faith does not deny reality. It simply refuses to be controlled by appearances. It knows that circumstances are temporary, but spiritual law is eternal. Faith is the courage to believe in abundance even when the evidence is not yet visible. The more you express faith, the more synchronicities begin to occur. You meet the right people at the right time. You find solutions that once seemed impossible. You receive unexpected financial blessings, ideas, or opportunities. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of aligning your inner state with divine supply. Faith creates a magnetic field around you that draws wealth toward you because it clears away the doubts and fears that once repelled it. Faith is action as much as belief. When you trust that abundance is available, you take inspired steps that a fearful person would avoid. You invest in yourself. You pursue new paths. You speak boldly, and you make decisions that reflect confidence rather than insecurity. These actions amplify the energy of faith and accelerate the arrival of the prosperity you desire. Faith pushes you beyond comfort and into the realm where miracles occur. Most importantly, faith affirms that you are supported, guided, and provided for. It reminds you that wealth is not created by struggle, but by alignment with divine flow. When faith becomes your foundation, you stop chasing money and start attracting it. You no longer doubt your blessings, you expect them. You no longer fear loss, you trust in replenishment. You no longer feel unworthy. You know that abundance is your birthright. Faith is the engine that moves every spiritual law into motion. It is the unseen force that transforms possibility into reality. When you nourish faith daily through gratitude, affirmation, trust, and inner certainty, you create a life where wealth flows naturally, steadily, and abundantly. Faith activates the divine supply that has always been available to you, and through it, you step into the prosperity that has been waiting for you all along. Action guided by intuition multiplies wealth because it comes from a deeper intelligence than logic alone can access. Intuition is the quiet inner voice that nudges you toward opportunities, warns you away from missteps, and leads you to decisions that align with abundance. When you act from intuition, you move with a sense of divine timing, making choices that elevate your financial life in ways you could never plan with the rational mind. Intuition is the bridge between your spiritual understanding of prosperity and the practical steps that manifest it. It is your inner navigation system, always guiding you toward greater increase, often through paths that seem unusual, unexpected, or perfectly aligned with who you are becoming. Many people ignore intuitive guidance because it does not always make sense in the moment. Logic demands proof, guarantees, and predictability. Intuition, on the other hand, offers whispers, feelings, and inner certainty. Yet intuition sees farther than logic. It perceives the connections, opportunities, and outcomes that the conscious mind cannot. When you follow intuition, you often find yourself in the right place at the right time, encountering people who open doors, discovering ideas that change everything, or stepping into opportunities that lead to unexpected prosperity. Wealth expands effortlessly when intuition leads, because intuition is aligned with the flow of abundance. Acting on intuition requires trust in yourself, trust in divine guidance, and trust in the unseen forces that orchestrate your life. When you hesitate, doubt, or second guess, you weaken the message. But when you respond with courage, you strengthen your connection to the inner wisdom that is always guiding you. Each time you follow an intuitive nudge, you receive more nudges. Each time you honor your inner voice, it becomes clearer, stronger, and easier to recognize. This relationship between intuition and action becomes a powerful engine of creation, where inner guidance directs you to the exact steps that manifest wealth. Intuition also protects your wealth. It warns you when something is wrong, when a business deal feels off, when a partnership drains your energy, or when an investment carries hidden risks. You may not have evidence, but you feel the truth. If you trust that feeling, you avoid losses that others fall into. This is why some people seem lucky in business or money. They are not lucky, they are intuitive, and they trust that intuition. Their wealth grows not just because of what they do, but because of what they wisely avoid. Intuition often leads to inspired ideas, those flashes of insight that feel like they came from a higher place. These ideas may seem simple, yet they carry the power to change your financial destiny. A new way to offer your skills, a creative solution to a problem, a bold move that elevates your income, or a realization that shifts your entire path. Inspired ideas are divine instructions, and when acted upon, they produce extraordinary results. Many people pray for wealth while ignoring the intuitive messages that contain the answers. Wealth increases when you act on the inspiration already given to you. Taking intuitive action also raises your vibration. It aligns you with confidence, flow, and spiritual momentum. You stop forcing outcomes and begin cooperating with the unfolding of your destiny. You walk with purpose, clarity, and an inner knowing that you are supported. This energy draws opportunities to you. People feel it, doors open to it, money flows toward it. Intuition aligns your actions with the highest good, making every step more impactful, more aligned, and more prosperous. Wealth is not just created by hard work, it is created by aligned work. Action that flows from intuition carries power, precision, and grace. It multiplies your efforts and accelerates your progress. When you learn to trust and act on your inner guidance, you discover that abundance responds quickly, consistently, and generously. Intuition is your wealth compass. Follow it, and it will lead you straight to the prosperity that has always been waiting for you. In the end, wealth is not something you chase. It is something you align with. It is not found outside of you, but awakened within you. When your thoughts speak abundance, when your words carry power, when your imagination boldly paints the life you desire, when your faith stands firm even in the face of uncertainty, and when your actions flow from divine intuition, you step into a life where prosperity becomes natural, effortless, and inevitable. You are not meant to struggle through life. You are meant to rise in it. You are not meant to carry fear. You are meant to carry truth. You are not meant to live in limitation. You are meant to live in abundance. Every moment is a chance to choose again, to think higher, to speak differently, to imagine boldly, to believe deeply, and to move with the guidance that is always leading you forward. Transform your mind, and your entire financial destiny transforms with it. Transform your inner world, and watch the outer world bend to match your new vibration. Your wealth, your opportunities, your breakthroughs, they are already prepared for you. All that is left is for you to step into the version of yourself who is ready to receive them.